In this video, we're going to get started working on the body filling, prepping the body ready for paint work. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is just work out what parts need to be filled in on these the panels. Most of it is okay, but there are some imperfections where there's like marks, low spots, they all need to be filled in. There's parts on the Moke, the way the Moke body works, you'll see a lot of spot welds, so there might be like an indentation where there's a spot weld. That's going to be left. I'm not going to fill up things like that because originally that's how the Moke would have been. It wouldn't have had all of them filled in. It's particularly where all the spot welds are. Okay, so let's just have a look at some of the products I'm using. This body filler is the Omega brand. I'll try that one. That's what I'm using so far. Done some work on the bonnet already. The other one I've got is the Concept Paints version lightweight body filler. So between the two, I'll check them out and just see which one works better for me. Alright, so we're going to probably make a start on the front. You can sort of see I've got some patches of filler there already. They were from just working on other parts. There's always filler left over. So just using it up here and there, and then I've given those bits a sand down, but there still needs a lot more work done to it. Overall on the top, that's not too bad. Over here, there's a bit of a low spot here that needs to be filled in. Probably down here too. Still in this region here, it's a bit low. And then again on the other side too, it's a bit low here and over here too. So let's mix up some filler. Alright, so I've got some scales here. That will sort of help get the ratio a bit more accurate than just going by eye. So I'm using a piece of cardboard as my tray. And this filler, I haven't used it for a few weeks, so it's sort of separated a bit. The oils in it have sort of come out. Just give that a quick mix. So the ratio is 50:1. So I'll just sort of see how much filler is 50 grams. This is a 200, oh, it's a 500 gram pot, so. Actually get myself a better applicator. So we're at 40. And take a bit back, that's not a problem. So you can get it 50 grams exactly, but the accuracy of these scales, it's not going to be 100% perfect. Alright, and then the hardener, I just like to knead the container a bit before I use it. So for that amount, 50 grams, we only need 1 gram of this hardener. Okay, so now it just needs to be mixed up. I'll use, picking out the best tool to use. That one needs to be cleaned off still. Might just go for scrape one of these. I'll move the scales out, it'll make my when you mixing this. You want to mix it to make sure you don't see any large bits of pink in there from the hardener. But then you don't want to take too long because it does cure pretty quickly. I think we're just about ready. All right, let's go and apply it. Okay, so we've put a lot more filler on, just on the edges mostly. There's a few spots that needed it. I'm yet to do the back. There's still a few more sections on there I need to do, and then go over it again a bit more if there's any low spots still. One of the issues I'm having when I'm using the DA sander on the actual panels, I'm getting a bit of build-up of static electricity. So after sanding, touching the body, especially where there's exposed metal, I'm just getting a shock of electricity. What I tried doing is using a chain and then just wrap the chain around just the end of the stand here, and then one end was obviously left on the ground, rubbing on the ground, and then that sort of earths it, and that solved the problem. But I want a bit more permanent solution. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut a length of chain, something like that, and then just screw that to the actual frame, just so that can dangle and rub on the ground to earth the body. All right, let's get started. So first of all, I just need to work out the length of the chain. It just sort of needs to go, if it's screwed onto there, it just needs to sort of reach there onto the ground, assuming this is always going to be on flat ground anyway. So judge it by eye and sort of about that length. And then I'm just going to use some bolt cutters to cut that. All right, next step, we'll just need to use a center punch and just make a hole on here. Okay, all good. All right, I just want to take a moment to talk about body filler. I mentioned earlier that I've been trying a few different brands. The one I actually preferred was this one here, the Omega brand. It is supplied by Repco. I purchased that at Repco, and the actual texture of this filler, it's comparable to like if you're icing a cake. I know a lot of people in the USA refer to body filler as icing. So the texture of it is much more smoother. When you lift it up off the tray, it doesn't sort of form these big long gloopy bits of filler, which the Super Cheap Auto brand actually does. The Super Cheap Auto brand, I've used that in like quite a few places. It is fine to use, but the actual application of it, just mixing either of them, there's no difference. They both mix up fine. It's just when you're actually got it on the tray and you're applying the body filler, the Super Cheap Auto body filler, it tends to form little droplets, and it's sort of more runnier. It doesn't stay together as a nice thick sort, like a mixture, to apply it easier. So applying it to a larger surface, the Omega body filler from Repco is more suitable for applying it to a larger area. If you're just filling in small spots here and there, either filler works fine. But cost-wise, they're both a similar price. So I would recommend the Repco brand, or the Omega brand, which was purchased from Repco. I just want to point out a few bits of the filler that I've done. Some of the major sections, obviously the floor of the tray needed a lot of filling, because there's a lot of minor imperfections in that, and to get it completely smooth you need to put a lot of filler on there. The alternative is a lot of panel beating, but it's just tedious work and noisy as well. Of course, inside the floor pan where the welding was done, all of that section needs filler on there because it's not dead flat. Where it's been ground, in some places I've sort of gone a bit thinner. Of course, where the weld is a bit fatter too, so that needs to be ground down to get it a bit more even. And of course, on the actual main flat spots all over the body, there is a lot of filler. I also mentioned earlier as well about some parts I'm not filling deliberately. Things like the spot welds. So you can see in here, these are the factory spot welds, and when the Moke came out of the production, these would have been left like that. They were never filled with filler, and before even the paint stripping process, that's how they were. So I've kept any spot welds, you can see some here, I'm not filling any of those. They're just going to stay as is, because it's part of what the Moke is all about. Likewise in sections like this where you have welds as well, I could, if I wanted to, fill all of it over, or grind it down, fill it over and make it completely flat. Same again here, you sort of see welds, and up here too. They could be well ground down flat and smooth, but then that sort of loses some of the character. There's some more spot welds there that will just be. And then again on some of the welds, like these brackets for the canopy, if some production cars would actually have this probably seam weld filled in, ground down nice and flat or whatever. These are actually spot welded in. These welds, I don't know whether they are factory or someone's just added them, but that's going to stay as is. I'm not going to do anything more with that. So in the tray section, there's still a little bit more sanding I need to do, and then there's still spots I still need to touch over. My plan is to actually install a rear seat on here, so I'm not 100% fussy on how perfect that is. I just want it to look reasonably flat. Alright, so we are at the stage now where I've put enough filler on for now. We are now ready to put some high build primer on this, so that'll be the next stage. I'll probably work on the bonnet and the side covers and all the other little pieces, the covers, before I do the body. So I put the high build primer on the bonnet and all of those pieces, get that done first, and then add the high build primer to the body. Alright, so that'll do us for now, so I'll leave it there, and thanks for watching my videos.